You're not lazy, you're not lost. You're just worn out. Drained from overthinking, caught in a mental maze, waking up each day with that same sinking feeling. Confusion, frustration, no clear path forward. You've got the spark, the hunger, but what's missing is the right way to think. This isn't some fluffy pep talk or recycled motivational hype. This is a wake-up call, a jolt rooted in Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that turned ordinary people into unshakable forces through life's fiercest storms. Ready to reclaim control, starting with the one thing you truly own, your mind? Let's dive into 7 Stoic secrets that won't just tweak your mindset, they'll transform your life from the inside out. If this resonates, stick around. And don't forget to subscribe to WisdomWavesAura on YouTube for more life-changing insights. You've been fed a lie. Live in the moment, seize the day, chase what feels good right now. It sounds poetic, even wise, but taken blindly, it's a trap. It breeds impatience, short-term thinking, and a restless heart. Stoics didn't ignore the present. They lived it fully while serving the future. Picture a tree. It towers toward the sky only because its roots dig deep into the dark, silent ground. Success doesn't bloom from urgency. It grows from patience and vision. Look at Netflix in 1997. A scrappy DVD by mail service. Losing money. Unremarkable. They even tried to sell themselves to Blockbuster for $50 million and got laughed off. Most would have folded, blamed the market, and moved on. But Netflix played the long game. They pivoted to streaming before the world was ready, poured cash into original content when it seemed reckless. Not because they were wild gamblers, but because they saw further. With a mindset the Stoics mastered. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dig within. There lies the wellspring of good, always ready to bubble up if you just dig." Digging is slow, repetitive, often thankless at first. That's why most settle for surface-level living, craving instant fruit without planting roots. Long-term thinking isn't about dreaming big, it's about designing small, deliberate steps. Ask yourself, what's one move I can make today to get 1% closer to where I want to be in 5 years? Try this. Write down 3 habits that'd change your life if you stuck with them. Now, why aren't you doing them? Reverse engineer your dream. Start with your 5-year vision, then break it down. What needs to happen in year 4, year 3, this year, this month, today? When you map it out, the path becomes real, tangible. You stop chasing distractions because you know what matters. The irony? Thinking long-term doesn't stress you out. It frees you. You're no longer desperate for overnight success or haunted by someone else's timeline. You're grounded in your journey and every small step feels sacred. Delays become tolerable. Failures turn into lessons, not losses. Patience isn't passive, it's powerful. It's the conviction to stay the course when results are invisible, knowing real growth is quiet, like a seed sprouting beneath the soil. Your job isn't to yank it out to check progress, it's to water it, protect it, keep working. But none of this matters if you're stuck blaming the world. Life doesn't owe you anything, and complaints don't build futures. That's why the next step is critical. Stop whining, start creating value. Once you do that every day, no excuses, your future doesn't just shift, it accelerates. For more on this, check out WisdomWavesAura on YouTube, where we break down how to live with purpose. Complaining feels like a release, but it's a slow poison, numbing your willpower. Every time you gripe, you leak energy that could have built something better. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you'll find strength. So why give that power away to things you can't control? Rent prices, a tough boss, a shaky economy. Stoics don't panic at obstacles or use hardship as an excuse to stall. They observe, accept reality, and turn inconvenience into value. Take Drew Houston, founder of Dropbox. One day on a bus, he forgot his USB stick and couldn't access his work. Most would have cursed their luck. Drew asked, "What if I never needed a USB again?" That question birthed Dropbox, now a cloud storage giant. Or look at Airbnb. In 2007, Brian Chesky and his friend Joe were broke, struggling to pay rent in San Francisco. Hotels were overpriced during conferences. Instead of complaining, they thought, people have spare rooms, travelers need beds. Why not connect them? They launched a simple site called Airbed and Breakfast. No whining, just action. Today, Airbnb's worth billions and has reshaped travel. How much time do you spend venting about what you haven't done versus doing it? Complaints don't build futures. Action does. And action starts when you stop blaming others. Too many people waste hours explaining why their job is unfair instead of asking, how can I make myself so valuable they can't ignore me? You don't need to be a tech founder to apply this. Stuck in traffic? Don't curse. Listen to a podcast. Learn something. Feel like you don't have time to skill up? Check how much time you give to excuses or mental noise. Complaining is a sneaky habit, masquerading as self-expression, but it doesn't lighten your load. It saps your drive. Every time you blame circumstances, you hand over the keys to your future. That's the opposite of Stoic strength, which demands owning your choices, thoughts, and actions. The world doesn't reward the loudest complainers. It rewards those who face problems and ask, what can I do about it? Proverbs says, in all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. Value comes from effort, not noise. No matter how poetic your frustrations sound, they won't move you forward. Try this. Next time you're about to complain, pause, breathe, ask, what can I do right now to move this 1% forward? A call, a note, a quick brainstorm. One small action trumps 1,000 polished gripes. Successful people aren't those with easy lives. They're the ones who waste less time whining and more time solving. If you want to change your life, change how you respond to what's hard. Not with blame, not with excuses, but with value, motion, action. If this hits home, join us at WisdomWavesAura on YouTube for more ways to cut through the noise and build a life that matters. If you're hesitating, scared of messing up, that's normal. But mistakes aren't what stop you, quitting does. Failure isn't the end. It's a restart button with fresh data. Look at Rovio, the Finnish game company. They churned out 51 forgettable games, bleeding cash, losing staff, teetering on bankruptcy. Most would have given up. On their 52nd try, they launched Angry Birds. It didn't just succeed, it exploded, racking up 4 billion downloads, spawning toys, movies, and spin-offs. Had they stopped at Game 50, they'd be a footnote. Their failures didn't vanish, they shaped a winning formula. The question isn't how many times you fall, but what you learn each time you rise. When Nike was just Blue Ribbon Sports, Phil Knight sold shoes from his car trunk, ran out of money, got rejected for loans, lost suppliers, faced lawsuits, nearly went broke. Each stumble taught him to adapt faster, negotiate smarter, pick better partners. Those failures were his mental gym, forging Nike into a global icon worth hundreds of billions. Why does failure sting so much? Because your brain learns best from it. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity. When you mess up and try to fix it, your brain rewires, building new connections. Failing is your mind's most potent software update. The more you trip, the sharper you get, if you study the fall. Learning isn't a straight line, it's a feedback loop. Act, reflect, adjust, try again. Amazon and Spotify live by this. Try, fail, analyze, fix, repeat. They don't dodge failure. They grow from it. Marcus Aurelius said, "The obstacle to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Obstacles aren't roadblocks. They're blueprints for reinvention. You don't move forward despite failure. You move because of it. Ask yourself, have you ever quit something because it didn't go smoothly at first? What would those failures teach you now? Next time you flop, write down 3 things. What did you misjudge? How did you react emotionally? What can you do differently? Don't let failure fade without value. Turn it into data. Failure alone doesn't cut it. You need conscious failure. It doesn't replace effort. It rewards those who push past the fall. Be brave enough to mess up and braver still to fix it. If you're not failing at anything, maybe you're not trying anything that matters. The real question isn't how to avoid being wrong. It's what you're learning from it. A Stoic mindset doesn't dodge failure. It builds on it. Want to Dive deeper into turning setbacks into stepping stones. Subscribe to WisdomWavesAura on YouTube for more. You can graduate from school, but learning never stops. That's a truth many dodge, thinking a diploma or a few years of study is enough to coast through life. Then reality hits. Why am I stuck while others surge ahead? The successful don't start ahead. They never stop learning. Learning isn't a phase, it's a lifestyle, not confined to books. It comes from work, from people better than you, from your own mistakes. Leonardo da Vinci didn't just paint masterpieces. He taught himself anatomy, mechanics, astronomy, leaving 13,000 pages of notes that still awe modern scientists. He lived each day as an experiment, driven by relentless curiosity. Kobe Bryant didn't just perfect his jump shot. He learned languages, studied cultures, dissected game footage for hours, not from doubt, but from a hunger to grow. After retiring, he won an Oscar for his animated film Dear Basketball. He wasn't just an athlete, he was a lifelong learner. What labels are you hiding behind that hold you back? True intelligence knows its limits. The Dunning-Kruger effect shows the less you know, the more you overestimate yourself, while the skilled see their gaps. Can you ask, where am I fooling myself into thinking I know enough? Marcus Aurelius said, "If anyone can show me I'm wrong, I'll gladly change. It's the truth I'm after." That's the root of clear thinking, not outshining others, but seeing the world as it is without filters. Carol Dweck's growth mindset shifts "I'm not good at this" to "I'm not good at this yet." That word, yet, bridges a limited present to a limitless future. You don't need grand gestures to grow. Read 10 pages a day to widen your perspective. Spend 15 minutes a week learning a small skill, better Excel, sharper emails, deeper listening. Watch someone better than you, not to compare, but to learn. When you think like you don't know enough, the world becomes your classroom. If you're not growing today, you're slipping behind. Yesterday's knowledge won't save you from obsolescence. You don't need to be Leonardo or Kobe, just a version of yourself that learns daily. What did you learn today? If you're still here, you're ready to answer that. Join the journey at WisdomWavesAura on YouTube to keep growing. You're not hired to dream, you're hired to deliver. But if you just show up, follow orders, and clock out, you're a switch, flipped on when needed, off when done. The danger isn't your job, it's how you see your role. If you're just a cog, you'll spin in place until you burn out. Stoics don't let titles or job descriptions define their worth. Real power lies in your mindset and actions because your thinking shapes your fate. There's a clear divide. Those who think like owners carve their path. Those who think like employees wait for directions. An owner's mindset doesn't ask, "Is this my job?" It asks, "How can I make this better?" Owners don't chase titles or applause, they chase progress. Look at Jan Koum, WhatsApp's founder. Before fame, he mopped supermarket floors, lived on food stamps, had no mentor. But he thought like an owner, asking, "If I don't act now, where will I be in 5 years?" He taught himself coding at a public library, built his future from scratch. No salary, no deadlines, just hunger and discipline. That's Stoic spirit. No self-pity, no blaming poverty or injustice. Jan couldn't control his past, but he owned his response. Success isn't luck. It's the result of accepting reality, staying rational, and acting consistently. What about you? When work feels dull, do you complain or improve it? When a teammate slips, do you blame or fix? When your boss overlooks you, do you sulk or make your value undeniable? Ownership isn't dreaming of being the boss. It's acting like the results are yours to shape. A good employee gets things done, an owner sees further. If I streamline this process, we save 3 hours a week. That's like investing, focusing on compounding value, not quick wins. Want to be trusted like a leader? Act like one. Even without the title, owners don't wait to be chosen, they choose themselves. The paradox: those who do often get the role they deserve because value shines. Be honest. When was the last time you thought, "That's not my job"? When did you last offer an unsolicited improvement? If you can't recall, you might be surviving your job, not building through it. You don't need a title to own your mindset. Just start today. And no one climbs alone. The people you surround yourself with decide how far you go. A talented person with mediocre company gets dragged down, but with the right partners, you thrive. Who's walking with you? Do they push you to think bigger or make you shrink? That's next, and it's a game changer. For more on owning your path, subscribe to WisdomWavesAura on YouTube. Sometimes the people closest to you become your heaviest anchors, not because they're bad or wish you harm, but because they're trapped in fear, limitation, or delay. The danger? The closer you are, the more their limits feel normal. Your mind doesn't need outright negativity, just constant exposure to it, and slowly, you adapt, like a violin tuning to the wrong note. Imagine rowing a boat while 4 others row the opposite way. No matter how strong you are, you're pulled back. You might think you're just going along for now, but that compromise cost you speed, clarity, even your destination. One day you'll wonder, how did I get stuck here? Lot's story in the Bible isn't just a moral, it's a warning. He didn't start corrupt when he settled near Sodom, he was just nearby. Over time, he was in it, surrounded by decay. He tried to stay upright, but the environment wore him down. An angel had to drag him out. Even the righteous erode in the wrong place. Where are you settling? Some conversations spark you, your mind buzzes, your heart races, you're ready to conquer. Others? 15 minutes and you're drained, like life's a leaking bag. Emotional energy is contagious. Studies show if someone in your circle is happy, your odds of happiness rise 15%. Even your friends' friends sway your mood. You're not just living, you're in an emotional ecosystem. Scarier still, negative influence doesn't need permission, just your silence. Sit through one complaint, one excuse, one lazy justification without pushing back, and your brain logs it as normal. Soon, you're living it without realizing. You might think, I can't ditch my friends, co-workers, family just because they're not upbeat. Fair point. Stoicism doesn't mean cutting ties, it means setting boundaries. Distance isn't rejection, it's protection, like clean air for your lungs. You need clean space for your mind. Try this. List the 5 people you spend the most time with. After each interaction, do you feel stronger or sapped? Do they inspire or make you doubt? Do they talk dreams or why nothing works? If your list doesn't reflect who you want to be, adjust it. No one else can. Choosing the right circle isn't selfish, it's responsible. You're training your mind to think clearly. Don't let it get hijacked by outdated patterns. Felt lonely after stepping away from a toxic crowd? That loneliness is space to rebuild your compass. The right people will find you if you stay true. When you realize right thinking isn't just about your head, but who shapes it, you've hit a turning point. Keep going. Don't miss the final lesson on WisdomWavesAura on YouTube. You can study right thinking forever, but until you live it, you're just lingering outside the door. Knowing isn't understanding, and understanding isn't living. Right thinking isn't what you ponder in a book. It's how you act when life crumbles, when you're insulted, when plans collapse, when emotions surge and you want to quit. That's when the truth shows. Are you thinking like a free person or still chained to circumstances? Stoicism doesn't promise a smooth ride. It equips you to walk through storms with a clear head and steady heart. But it's not about bottling emotions. It's about mastering them. It's not armor to look tough, it's the framework that holds you steady when the world shakes. And it only works if you practice daily. You can't think your way to Rome. You walk, step by step, through dust and thorns. Right thinking won't spare you failure, but it keeps you from staying down. The question isn't what you know, it's what you'll do with it. You can preach discipline but still stay up late scrolling. You can praise persistence but quit before results show. Right thinking starts when you ask, do my actions match my beliefs? Change isn't a dramatic revolution, it's a quiet edit. Every thought you choose, every reaction you manage, every time you act despite procrastination, it shapes you. Change doesn't strike like lightning, it rises like dawn after a long night, clear only when you've walked far enough. No one walks for you. You've learned long-term thinking. acting over complaining, learning from failure, owning your life, choosing your circle. But are you living it? Are you still scrolling instead of studying, blaming instead of fixing, clinging to toxic ties instead of cutting them? It's not that you don't know, it's that you haven't chosen to live differently. The final lesson isn't new. Apply what you know. No cherry picking, no waiting for the perfect moment. Knowledge can become a hiding place, but Stoicism was built to be tested. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That's right thinking, not just knowing what's right, but having the guts to live it, even when no one's watching. You don't need another theory, you need a commitment. Promise yourself, from today you'll close the gap between knowing and doing. Stop waiting for ideal conditions, stop saying you're not ready. Use what you have to sharpen who you are. Get up, cut the noise, say no to laziness, keep the smallest promises to yourself. Every action is a vote for who you'll become. Step by step, you won't just think right, you'll live right. That's what changes everything. For more on living with purpose, subscribe to WisdomWavesAura on YouTube. We've walked through 7 Stoic principles, not abstract theories, but practical tools to reshape your life. Thinking long-term so you're not just scraping by, ditching complaints to create value, seeing failure as your greatest teacher, committing to endless learning because you're always a work in progress, owning your mindset even if you're not the boss, choosing your circle wisely because who walks with you shapes who you become, and above all, living what you've learned, not just thinking it. If something stirred in you, if you felt, "I can live differently," hold that spark. Don't let it fade like past inspirations. The moment you act, even imperfectly, you've begun. If this spoke to you, give it a like on WisdomWavesAura's YouTube channel. It tells us this message reached someone who needed it. Drop a comment. Which of these 7 lessons hit hardest? We'd love to hear your thoughts and grow together. Thanks for staying till the end, for listening not just to us, but to your inner voice. Join us at WisdomWavesAura on YouTube for the next video, where we'll keep sharpening your mind, strengthening your character, and learning not just to think right, but to live right.